The Kenya Air Force is a vital and capable arm of the Kenya Defence Forces. But as Africa's skies grow more contested, with drones, fast jets, and new aerial threats emerging rapidly, is Kenya prepared to meet these modern challenges with legacy systems? In today's video, we break down the current state of the Kenyan Air Force, its aircraft inventory, capability gaps, and areas that need urgent modernization. We take a closer look at its air combat strength, especially its fighter fleet, and ask, what options are on the table for boosting its aerial dominance, from upgrading legacy fighters to acquiring new platforms? Stay with us as we unpack the future of Kenya's air power in a fast-changing strategic landscape. The main workhorse of the Kenya Air Force's fighter wing remains the Northrop F-5 Tiger II, a light supersonic jet first introduced in the 1960s. Kenya originally acquired its F-5s in the 1970s. Then, in 2008 and 2009, Kenya purchased 15 ex-Jordanian F-5E and F-5F variants. These aircrafts were reportedly upgraded before delivery with avionics, radios, navigation systems, and came with pilot training and spare parts. The total deal of this acquisition was around 1.5 billion Kenya shillings, or about $23 million, and the aircraft were delivered in parts and reassembled locally in Kenya. While these jets brought improved reliability and better avionics for their time, they lacked and still lack modern radar systems, helmet-mounted sights, or beyond visual range missile capability. You know, the small bells and whistles that accompany modern fighter planes. While Kenya's F-5s are still operational in 2025, they are beginning to show their age, especially in a region where air forces are modernizing rapidly. On the transport and utility side, Kenya has made significant improvements, with recent attempts to replace the Buffaloes with the C-27J Spartan and the Y-12 with Skytrack light transport planes. The Leonardo-manufactured C-27J Spartan, for example, is one of the most capable tactical planes in its class. It is rugged and able to operate from rough airstrips, which is ideal for missions in remote areas. The Skytrack, which will be the replacement for Y-12's light transport planes, gives the Air Force better options that it didn't have previously, such as its renowned short takeoff and landing capabilities, larger cargo loading, and more. Kenya also operates a few Dash 8s and a Fokker 70, mostly for VIP transport. To finance most of these acquisitions, Kenya has done direct purchases and also tapped into the American EDA program. On the rotary wing side of things, Kenya Air Force's most important helicopter asset remains the SA-330 Puma, a proven rugged platform used for troop transport, medevac, and battle resupply. It's been in service for decades, and around 13 units are still believed to be operational. Acquired in the late 70s to early 80s, the platform might also need to be replaced. Complementing the Puma is the Bell Huey 2, an upgraded version of the iconic Huey 1. Recently added to the Air Force's utility function, the Huey 2s are lighter, faster, and used for quick insertion missions and liaison tasks. Then there is the Z-9WE, a Chinese-built helicopter based on the Eurocopter Dauphin. Kenya uses them for reconnaissance, armed escort, and light strike missions. They are equipped with sensor pods and can carry anti-tank missiles, a useful addition in anti-militant operations. But when it comes to dedicated attack power, Kenya Air Force relies on a small fleet of upgraded AH-1 Cobra helicopters, acquired second-hand from Jordan. While capable, they are few and may have seen better days. For VIP transport and search and rescue, Kenya uses a handful of AW-139s. These provide modern avionics, decent range, and comfort, but are limited in numbers. Other assets in its inventory include Mi-171E, which supplements the utility activities of the Pumas and the Hueys, while the Cessna 208 Grand Caravans are equipped and operated as ISR operational assets. In modern warfare, information is power, and the sky is where that power lives. Kenya has started investing in that power. In 2024, the Kenyan Air Force reportedly acquired 6 Bayraktar TB2 unmanned combat aerial vehicles from Turkey. These drones are battle-tested with a combat record in conflict areas such as Azerbaijan, Mali, Syria, and even Libya. Each of these units is fitted with Aselsan, Flare 500 electro-optical and infrared cameras, allowing for day and night surveillance, real-time video feeds, and laser-guided precision strike, all without risking a single pilot. Training of the Kenyan drone operators was done at Baykal's facility in Kesan, Turkey, with the operators graduating in August 2024. The TB2s are now part of Kenya's arsenal, likely used for counter-terrorism operations in places like Boni Forest, where Al-Shabaab militants operate along the Somali border. But Kenya's drone story didn't start here. Before the TB2s, the military deployed smaller tactical drones such as the Instu Scan Eagle, the RQ-11 Raven, and even the Ghost Ray from Israel's Bluebird Aero Systems, reportedly spotted in past years. There is no public evidence yet of Chinese strike drones on the Kenya Air Force's inventory, but unconfirmed rumors persist. Still, for all this progress, there is a gap Kenya hasn't bridged. One of the Kenya Air Force's biggest challenges, aging platforms such as the fighters, and also its fleet of Pumas that no longer match modern mission demands. The F-5 Tiger II, once a Cold War workhorse, is increasingly out of step with today's combat requirements, especially in the kind of conflict Kenya faces. While Kenya may technically not be preparing for large-scale wars with neighboring air forces, its asymmetric threats like insurgent attacks in Lamu, cross-border incursions, and the need to protect infrastructure requires modern tools that are capable of handling most of these threats. In this type of warfare, modern fighters matter for airspace control, rapid interception, and precision strikes. The current fleet of F-5s lacks certain tools that would make them effective, such as active electronically scanned array radar, beyond visual range missile capabilities, helmet-mounted sights, and advanced electronic warfare suites, among others. This results in limited situational awareness, poor survivability in contested airspace, and an inability to deter or intercept modern aerial threats such as hostile UAVs or even commercial aircraft used for attacks. While Kenya may have acquired upgraded ex-Jordanian F-5s in 2008-2009, fitted with Rockwell Collins avionics and delivered at a cost of around 1.5 billion shillings, the jets are still built on a node airframe with inherent limitations. These upgrades only bought time, not superiority. To remain capable, Kenya must either deeply modernize the F-5s with better radars, BVR missiles, and other things that improve the fighter's performance, or consider affordable multi-role replacements such as the JAS Gripen, which are better suited for 21st century air policing and rapid response. Before the Air Force consider buying new jets like the Gripen or F-16, let's examine the path of upgrading the current F-5s, a route that Brazil and other F-5 owning nations such as Singapore and Thailand have successfully undertaken. Between 2001 and 2020, Brazil transformed its aging fleet into the F-5EM and F-5FM models through a deep modernization program led by Embraer and Elbit Systems. Included in these upgrades were new multi-mode radar, glass cockpit with modern avionics, hands-on throttle and stick, helmet-mounted sights, air-to-air refueling capabilities, integration of new weapons which included BVR missiles such as Derby and short-range missiles like Python 4, and enhanced electronic and countermeasure systems. These upgrades made the F-5s combat capable into the 2020s and at a fraction of the cost of acquiring brand new jets. Brazil reportedly spent around $10 to $15 million per airframe, significantly cheaper than acquiring new F-16s or Gripens. But even after all these upgrades, Brazil still went for the Gripen and so did Thailand. Could Kenya do the same? Kenya could follow this route by working with an international defense partner, perhaps Israel's Elbit Systems, Brazil's Embraer, or even South Africa's Paramount to upgrade its F-5E fleet. This may extend their service life for another 10-15 years, but this is also highly unlikely and has been overtaken by events and time because it should have happened a lot earlier. This would also give pilots modern training platforms and also provide a stopgap solution while planning a long-term replacement like the Gripen. But, and it's a big but, even upgraded F-5s are still limited by design. They will never match the range, radar power, or multi-role flexibilities of true fourth-generation fighters. So, while it's a smart interim option, it's not a long-term solution. So, what are Kenya's other options beyond upgrades to replace the aging F-5 fleet? There is no shortage of choices on the global market, from Western jets to more affordable Eastern platforms. However, each comes with its own set of pros and cons, including cost, capability, reliability, and long-term support. Of these options, one contender is the sub-manufactured JAS 39 Gripen, Sweden's multi-role fighter designed to operate from rough runways with lower operating costs than jets like F-16s or even Eurofighter Typhoon. The Gripen CD variant offers advanced AESA, radar, BVR capability missiles like Metro, electronic warfare suite, single and dual seater options, low maintenance footprint which is ideal for Africa's budget-constrained nations, and many more. It is also NATO interoperable and supports network-centric warfare, a big step up from the F-5. With all the relatively good things that the Gripen offers, the pricing doesn't come cheap, especially when compared to an F-5. The unit price of a Gripen C is about $30 to $40 billion plus or minus, with annual operating costs at a fraction of the F-16. Compare that to the F-16 Block 70, which costs around $60 to $70 million per unit plus higher maintenance and logistic burden. In the world of fighter jets, it's not just about speed, firepower, and stealth. What matters for most countries, especially ones with limited defense budgets, is cost efficiency, maintenance, and readiness. Let's break down how the classic F-5 Tiger II, the modern Gripen CD, and the versatile F-16C stack up, not in a dogfight, but in something far more critical. How much does it cost? to fly, maintain, and keep these jets in the air. First, cost per flight hour. The F5 is cheaper, around 5,000 to 7,000 per hour, but the newer Gripen is shockingly efficient, clocking in at around 4,700 to 6,000 US dollars per flight hour. The F-16, it can go as high as 10,000 per hour, depending on the block. So, while the F5 is old, it's not necessarily cheaper to operate than the Gripen. Now, the F-16 needs 7 to 10 technicians per plane and up to 20 man-hours of maintenance per flight hour. The F-5 isn't much better. 12 to 15 hours of work for every hour in the air. But the Gripen, it was built for efficiency, needing just 6 to 10 man-hours and as few as 3 technicians to get it combat ready. Fast turnaround time is critical in combat scenarios. Gripen leads again, with under 2 hours needed between missions. F-16s will take longer, up to 6 hours, and the F-5 being older isn't much faster. And when it comes to availability, the Gripen boasts over 80% readiness, while the F-5 lingers below 60%. Bottom line, F-5 is outdated with shrinking spare parts and high downtime. The F-16 is powerful but expensive to maintain, and the Gripen, it strikes a rare balance, modern capability at a low logistical cost. For countries like Kenya looking to modernize without draining their defense budgets, the Gripen might just be the smart fighter for the future. So, how does a country like Kenya afford modern fighter jets? Buying them outright, not exactly pocket change. A brand new F-16 Block 70 will set you back $60 to $70 million per jet. Even the most affordable Swedish Gripen C costs around $30 to $40 million. Kenya's annual defense budget hovers around $1.2 to $1.3 billion. But only a small slice of that, often less than 10%, goes to new acquisitions. Big ticket items like modern fighter jets can eat up a huge chunk of that pie. But here is the thing, there is a smarter, more flexible way. The lease to own option. Saab, the maker of Gripen, offers a lease to own model, something that countries like Hungary and the Czech Republic have taken up when acquiring their Gripens. This option gives Kenya an opportunity to access the planes without bankrupting its defense budget. Instead of a massive upfront payment, Kenya could lease the jets over time, say 10 to 15 years. In Hungary's case, they did 12. Each year, a predictable installment is made, and at the end, full ownership. It's like financing a car, but instead of a Toyota, you're getting a multi-role fighter jet decked out with all the military-grade bells and whistles, radar jammers, advanced avionics, and the kind of thrust that makes air superiority more than just a buzzword. This works for Kenya how? 1. It avoids huge initial costs. It spreads payments across multiple budgets, and then gives time to train pilots, build support infrastructure, and gradually modernize. But there is more: technology transfer. If Kenya partners with Saab, it could also negotiate a tech transfer deal. This means local engineers trained to maintain the jets, in-country facilities set up for servicing and repairs, or even partial assembly done locally in future. This approach doesn't just build jets, it builds skills and creates jobs. An entire aerospace ecosystem for the future. In Kenya's case, the Gripen CD, acquired through a flexible financing model, offers the best mix of affordability, sustainability, and combat readiness. It's not just about buying jets, it's about keeping them flying day after day without draining the national defense budgets. The F5 has served Kenya well, but its time is up. The Gripen offers a realistic, capable, and cost-effective path forward for Kenya. But the bigger question is, will Kenya government moneymen invest in long-term air power, or will we keep patching up old jets? What do you think? Should Kenya go for the Gripen, the F-16, or something else entirely? Drop your thoughts in the comments below, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more defense breakdowns from across Africa.